Once upon a time, in a large brick house on the outskirts of town lived a lovely young girl named Cinderella. For many years it was just Cinderella and her father who enjoyed this lovely home. Sadly, her mother had passed away when she was just 5 years old. As a result, Cinderella spent a lot of time at her father's garage. See, he was a mechanic and loved working on cars. By the time Cinderella was 12, she had learnt many skills and was able to service a car. She loved spending time with her father and one day hoped to take over her father's garage. One day, Cinderella's father met a lady named Elizabeth, and they got married. Elizabeth had 2 teenage daughters of her own, Claudia and Melissa. They were lazy and spoilt. They went shopping, played with makeup, and talked about boys. This was very different for Cinderella, and she had difficulty fitting in with them. Cinderella wished she could spend more time with her father in the garage, but her new mother often had her doing many chores around the house, as this was more appropriate for a young girl. When Cinderella was allowed to go to the garage with her father, her stepsisters would taunt her. They would start chanting, "Greaserella, Greaserella, never gonna get a fella." This upset Cinderella, and over time she became more withdrawn from her stepsisters. When Cinderella was 15, the 3 girls arrived home from school to find that Elizabeth had been crying. Cinderella's father had died. For a little while the taunts from her stepsisters stopped, but before long they began again. And to make things worse, Elizabeth had decided to sell the garage and have Cinderella do much of the housework to prevent her from playing with cars. A year went by, the garage sold, and Cinderella had a life that consisted of housework and school. She had a couple of friends, but was never allowed to see them. As the end of the school year approached, a dance was being prepared. It was going to be a spectacular masquerade theme. To Cinderella's surprise, her stepmother was going to let her go, but she needed to be home by midnight. This was perfect. The first night out in a long time, thought Cinderella. She bought a dress from the op shop in town and tailored it all ready for the dance. On the way to the dance, Cinderella's car broke down. She stopped the car and put on a jacket to prevent her dress from getting damaged, and popped the bonnet. It didn't take her long to discover the problem and fix it. Just as she was about to close the bonnet, a car pulled over to assist. Out came Harry. He was the most popular boy in school. Harry asked if everything was okay, and to his surprise discovered that Cinderella knew a lot about cars. Harry was in awe of this girl. He didn't recognise her at first, but figured she must have been going to the dance as she had a nice dress on under her jacket. Before Harry could ask her name, Cinderella thanked him for stopping and was on her way. Upon arriving at the dance, Cinderella used the mirror in her car to clean the grease off her face and put on a mask. She also put on a pair of glass earrings, which were her mother's. Soon after, Harry arrived. He recognised her dress and was immediately drawn to her. The pair danced for quite some time, engaging in conversation about mechanics. As it turned out, Harry knew a lot about cars himself. However, Harry still didn't know this girl's name. Many jealous girls looked on, including Cinderella's stepsisters. They had not seen Cinderella dressed up like this, and did not recognise her with a mask on. As midnight drew closer, and much to Harry's dismay, Cinderella ran out the door. She dropped one of her earrings on the way. This was it. Harry had to find this girl again. He put flyers up around the school the following day. Many girls responded to it and tried to win his heart. After the first 10 girls attempt, he mentioned that this girl was really interested in cars. Claudia and Melissa looked at each other. Greaserella? Harry heard them say this. What did you say? He asked. Cinderella. She's our stepsister, but she's weird. How can it be her? Harry insisted that the girls take him to Cinderella immediately, and with reluctance they did. They began talking, and Harry knew immediately that this was the girl he was looking for. Finally, he knew her name. The two continued to get to know each other, completed school, and went on to run a very successful garage together.